Property of Perfector document doc.type equals anomaly report, property PoP002, placement on the danger scale, 2, predatory, autonomous, uncontainable, containment, uncontainable clause. PoP0 is uncontainable due to the dynamics of its life cycle, such as teleportation capabilities and its self-propagating nature. All known attempts to isolate or neutralize the anomaly have resulted in combustion or entity relocation. Full eradication remains beyond current technological or metaphysical capabilities of mortal life forms. Objects' destructive capabilities aren't a treat to the higher structures of nirvana, nor will there be any use out of them, as such capturing them remains low on the priority list. Description. PoP002 is a two-part anomaly composed of a symbiotic relationship between PoP002-1, the Melodic Skull, and PoP002-2, Muskills. PoP0021, the Melodic Skull. This humanoid skull appears unnervingly lifelike, varying in size and shape across instances. Its eye sockets are absolute voids, impervious to any source of light. A small hole resides at the apex of the skull's forehead. Newly created instances initially have a jaw connected to the rest of the skull, though it appears non-functional. After their first relocation, they lose the lower jaw, leaving it behind. PoP002-2, Muskills. These arachnid entities are the size of an adult human male's hand. The average example occupies a space of 20 by 20 by 15 centimeters. Their cracked exoskeletons emit faint red glows from fissures that suggest an internal heat source, likely centered in the heart. Each instance possesses 6 disturbingly human-like eyes, giving the illusion of a weeping expression. The legs, particularly the lower segments, are covered in dense, hair-like structures that assist in silent, rhythmic movement. Behavior and life cycle. PoP002 is active only during nights with a full moon. Manifestation of PoP02-1. PoP002-1 manifests between 23 near human prey. This manifestation is independent of weather or moon visibility. PoP02-1 favors desolate, death-filled environments, including cemeteries, battlefields, and war-torn regions. It particularly prefers isolated or weakened humans over those in protected communities. During this period, PoP002-1 emits a haunting, continuous whistle through the hole in its forehead. This sound is hypnotic and described as a lullaby for the damned. Awakenate Maconite, PoP002-1 excretes a viscous red fluid from its forehead. This liquid pools around the nasal cavity and solidifies within 1 minute and 35 seconds. Moments later, 5 to 10 minutes after midnight, a groggy, disoriented PoP002-2 crawls from the skull's eye socket, driven instinctively toward the blood. The arachnid begins consuming the blood, starting at the base of the skull and working upward. This process not only cleanses the skull, but enhances PoP002-2's vitality and aggression. By the time it is finished, typically after 7 to 16 minutes, the entity is fully activated and prepared for predation. Propagation. Once fully active, PoP002 hunts human prey with precision. The clicking of its legs, combined with its rhythmic, bongo-like vibrations, serves as an ominous prelude to its approach. Upon contact, the spider injects a paralytic venom into its victim, rendering them conscious but immobile. It then secretes a corrosive enzyme to dissolve flesh, leaving behind only the skull, now transformed into a new instance of PoP002-1. As this process unfolds, the skull emits a mournful, flute-like melody, creating a grotesque symphony that combines the spider's music with the victim's muffled screams. Possible further states. Scenario 1, Death and Combustion. PoP002-2 is intrinsically linked to its originating PoP002-1. If the two fail to reunite before 07:06 a.m., or if either is sufficiently damaged, both spontaneously combust. The combustion lasts precisely 5 minutes, producing an intense heat capable of incinerating nearby structures within seconds. Although this behavior isn't reserved for only after it kills its first victim, it nearby always manages to kill at least one person. Scenario 2, Reunion. If the original pair reunites, they vanish in a burst of crimson light, reappearing at a random Earth location during the next full moon. Time appears to skip entirely for the reunited entities, resuming their cycle phase of newly created instances. PoP002-1b. Newly formed PoP002-1 remains dormant until 7:06 a.m. on the night of its creation. Afterward, it teleports away and becomes the host for a new instance of PoP002-2, forming its own independent symbiotic relationship. If destroyed during this dormant period, it does not combust. Memory extraction logs. Memory extraction number 1, subject details: name, Corporal Wukash Kasanov, age 31, species human, occupation infantry soldier, military, physical description: medium build, unkempt hair, signs of malnutrition, left eye heavily scarred due to shrapnel, mental state highly unstable, signs of severe PTSD. Subject's speech patterns are erratic, interrupted by bursts of hyper-awareness and silence. Location of incident: Killing Cow Battlefield Universe, BLO 20 Halv 79 A 189 Dive 6C. Time of event 0046 AM 08 1987 during the third month of an extended conflict. Condition: during extraction, sedated. Memory fragments recovered through experimental neural siphoning. Extracted memories: it was a bad night already, cold, damp, and too quiet. You'd think that in a war zone, silence would be a blessing, but it wasn't. It felt wrong, like the air was heavier. We thought maybe the enemy had pulled back, but then I heard it. It was this faint sound, like a whistle cutting through the mist. At first, it barely registered, just this lonely, hollow tone. Then it got louder. We all heard it. A few of the guys laughed, said it was just the wind playing tricks on us, but it wasn't the wind. The skulls, they were just there. I don't know where they came from. 1 second, it was just mud and barbed wire, and the next, these things were sitting there, half buried in the muck. They didn't glow or move. They just stared. And then something came out of them. Spiders, but not spiders. Too big, too alive. I'll never forget their legs, those goddamn legs, tapping on the ground like they were playing a song. The sound got faster, like a rhythm, and it was mocking us. Johnson was the first to go. It dropped on him, silent as a shadow, and I swear to God, it looked at me while it ate him. It knew I was watching. His skin melted, just slid off his bones, and the skull was smiling, whistling that tune. After that, it was chaos, screaming gunfire, but nothing worked. They moved like smoke, slipping through the trenches. One of them landed on Stevens. It didn't kill him right away. It just pinned him down, its legs digging into his chest, and it looked at him like it was trying to understand. Then it ripped him apart. I ran. I don't know why. But they didn't follow. Maybe they didn't care. Maybe they'd had their fun. I can still hear that whistle in my head, though, like it's calling me back. Here I am now, a deserter, a coward, a survivor. Tomorrow I shall stand trial, for I had not followed orders. My lawyer advised me to plead for insanity, but God be damned, I am not insane. I know what I saw. The truth has to be told. Humanity must know that something is lurking in the darkness, something far worse than death. Memory extraction number 2. Subject details: Imani Kissinger, age 39, species human, occupation widow, caretaker, mother of 1, deceased. Physical description: slight frame, dark hair streaked with gray, pale complexion, signs of physical exhaustion and recent minor burns on hands and forearms. Mental state: deeply traumatized, wavering between numbness and bursts of raw emotion. Speaks haltingly, often distracted or fixated on irrelevant details. Location of incident: Pobraska, Alaskistan, universe, BLO 20-79, A189, 0005, number 6C. Time of event: night of a full moon, 0328 AM, 0611, 1999. Condition during extraction: highly resistant, required significant calming agents before memory retrieval. Extracted memory: I woke up to that sound. It wasn't loud, but it was enough to pull me out of bed. A whistle, high and thin, like someone blowing through a broken flute. My first thought was the house settling, maybe a draft. But it didn't stop. It kept going, steady and deliberate, and I knew something was wrong. I checked on my son, my sweet boy. He was sleeping so peacefully, I almost convinced myself it was nothing. But then I saw it. The spider. It was sitting on his bedside table, staring at him. I don't know how it got there. The room was locked. There was no way in, but it was there, and it was whistling. It was looking at him, at my boy, with its disgusting eyes. I was terrified, as I have never seen a thing like this before. It was like a snapshot from a horror movie, except there was no thick layer of a TV screen separating me and the incomprehensible horror that this thing was. I released a scream of fear and terror, getting the thing's attention as it rotated towards me. My boy woke up, hearing my scream and looking at me with tears running down his boyish cheeks. He saw it. He screamed, and that thing, it moved so fast, it was on him in seconds. I tried to stop it. God, I tried. I threw everything I could grab, but nothing worked. It was eating him, melting him, and all I could do was watch. There was a loud whistling sound accompanying, coming from God knows where. It was getting louder and louder as the spider ate my child away more and more. And then it changed. It sounded like a flute now, almost beautiful if it wasn't so horrible. The spider just kept going, tearing him apart piece by piece until there was nothing left but his skull. I snapped. The thing has turned now towards me and started chasing me. I ran to the kitchen so I could grab something to defend myself. I don't remember much, just grabbing the kitchen knife and stabbing at it. I think I hit its legs. It screamed, and then it caught fire. Everything caught fire. I barely made it out before the whole house went up. As I have gotten to the safety of the streets, I saw also a small fire burning in the garden of our neighbors. I didn't think much of it. My whole world had just been shattered, so there was not much room for connecting any dots. My boy is gone. My home is gone. I have nothing left. Just that sound, that whistle, playing over and over in my head like it's mocking me. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to keep going. Observation log notes. The rhythm is exact, as though engineered. The consistency of their behaviors suggests a predatory purpose, but also a strange artistic deliberation. Their combustion properties suggest a deeply ingrained law of balance, self-enforcing eradication to maintain the cycle. Thesis, theory, a tool of the unseen. The origins of PoP-02 are shrouded in layers of obscurity, suggesting its genesis lies far beyond the reach of mortal comprehension. It is neither fully a product of life nor death, but instead appears as a breach in the fabric of reality, a remnant of an existence that does not belong within the parameters of creation. Its form and function are too deliberate to be mere accidents, and yet its behaviors and patterns suggest something fractured, unbound from its original purpose. One theory posits that PoP-002 may be an artifact of a forgotten conflict between realms, a weapon forged to inflict terror not only on the body but on the mind and soul. The precise rhythms of its movements, the calculated harmony of its predation, and the unrelenting propagation of its design suggest it may have been intended as an instrument of war, crafted not to destroy but to eternally destabilize, a living reminder of chaos. Or a tool, preparing realms who have fallen to its existence for the arrival of its creators.
Theory.
Mystical roots. Based on the observations, one could suggest it is not a weapon, but the spawn of a place beyond the mortal concept of afterlife, a realm where agony and ecstasy are indistinguishable. From there, it may have wandered into creation or been deliberately sent, a fragment of the unknowable made flesh. This theory frames PoP-002 not as a product of intent, but as a being whose existence is tied to the natural laws of its origin, a world where things like it are neither anomalies nor abominations, but norms. Alternatively, its cyclic and parasitic nature may point to an origin far outside creation itself, a reality not ruled by gods or time, but by the raw mechanics of existence, where entities are not made but simply are. In this context, PoP-002 could be a fragment of something vast, broken, and misplaced. It does not destroy because it chooses to. It destroys because that is what it must do. Its form and function might simply be the smallest reflection of a larger whole, an echo of incomprehensible purposes. If this theory shall prove correct, it would be wise to investigate what causes disturbances in the fabric of logic. For most universes befallen by its existence simply don't have a strong arcane aura, which could support such foul magics. Final thoughts. Whatever its origins, PoP-002 carries with it the weight of something ancient and unrelenting. Its music, its cycles, and its endless creation and destruction speak not of an accident, but of inevitability. Whether it is a relic of a war beyond the stars, a child of forgotten realms, or a fracture in the very structure of reality, one thing remains certain: it does not belong to the places it plagues, and yet it cannot be removed. It exists, and so it will continue. Property of Perfector. Perfection is inevitable.